Hi, and welcome to Adjust Interpersonal Styles and Methods. Every one of us has their own style of working, their own style of communicating with someone, their own personality type. And there are a range of them depending on which measure you look at. It can be a massive range of ways in which people work and communicate and relate to each other. So it's important that when you deal with someone, you're not necessarily going to deal with someone who's very similar to you. You need to be able to adjust your style, your communication style, to fit in with them, so that you can then communicate properly and have a really good sharing of ideas. So I'm going to simplify all those into two interpersonal styles so that you can see the difference. But just bear in mind that there are a range of them, a massive multiple range of them, and we'll discuss these further in class. So we can see here we have the very formal method. Okay, so these are obviously U.S. military. They're standing to attention. They're very formal in the way they act and the way they present themselves. And we see this person is very much relaxed. They're on a beach. They're relaxing. Um, they're they're not caring too much about what they're, or they could be caring about what they're doing, but they're not really showing it. Okay, so these two people, you'd imagine these two sets of people would have very different ways of working. Okay, and it's not to say that either one of them is a better way of working, just different. Some ways might be better suited to different tasks, others less so. For other tasks, it might not matter which way you work as long as the task gets done. But we could pretty much understand that these guys and this person would have very different ways of dealing with everything. So if we have two people of a similar style, then you would understand that these people will probably understand each other very well. They're brought up with the same language. They act the same way. They would expect the other people to act in a way similar to them. So it's very easy to communicate with people when they think like you, when they act like you, when they sound like you, when they look like you. So you would imagine these sets of people would be able to work together fairly efficiently without much extra work going on in the background. However, when we come over here, you would imagine that these two people might have some frustration. The formal people might be frustrated by this person's informality, and the informal person might feel weighed down by the formal nature of any interaction they have with these people. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that when you communicate with people that are different to you, that you try to think about who they are and what they're about, and you modify the way you communicate to suit that person a bit better. If you're talking to someone who is a bit more formal, or you're talking to them in a formal sense, maybe they're your boss, you might deal with them in a more formal way. You might use language that is more formal. You might use language that is more suitable for them. But if you are dealing with someone who's more informal, you might choose to then use language that is more informal as well to try to build trust and respect, and to make sure that the message you're sending is heard and it's not lost in the formality of what you're trying to say. So you need to make sure that you modify the way you speak, the way you act, and the way you do things to suit the people you're doing them with.